Hi guys and welcome to Learn Extra Live. Yes, it's grade 12s, finally. I know that you've all been chomping at the bit and waiting. As you can see, we've got Peter on board today and it's going to be, you know what that means? That means it's going to be really, really fun.
Thanks,
and it means
man.
he's going to tease me a hell of a lot. So I'm going to try not to cry.
Please don't.
I'll try not to.
Guys, grade 12 today, we're doing finance. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at different types of finance questions that could come up in both your paper 1 as well as your paper 2. But before we get there, how was your week? Great week?
It's been a good week, but
It
it's
has
not
been.
over.
No, it's
yet.
not.
Yeah.
Cold on Tuesday?
Freezing.
Absolutely.
Snow.
Do you know that I was up in the Magaliesberg with a group of 79 boys when that snow came down?
And happiness.
It was freezing. You have no idea how cold we were. And
But
the
did you get
boys
to
were-
make a snowman? Was there like big snow?
There was not, no.
No.
But what we
Boo.
did was we were doing a survival course. So the guys were abseiling down mountains, sliding across gorges on their backs on a
Snow
cable.
flying through their
It
hair.
was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I can
But
imagine.
one of the guys had a bicycle. And he put his bicycle and he walked away and it fell over. So he picked it up,
Yeah.
had it up, left it, and it fell over. And do you know why the bicycle kept falling over?
Because it wasn't leaning on something?
No, it was too tired. Think about that. Too tired. No.
That's a good one. I
I'll
like
go
it.
there, you talk
I
to
like
them.
it. You go there. Mixed exercises and finance is coming up, guys. But what you need to do is you need to chat to us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Learn Extra. Also chat to me, Indy, on Twitter @Learn Extra. If there's anything that Peter is going over that you're not understanding, please pop it on the page. And there's no such thing as a silly question, only the one that's asked after the exams, because then it's too late. And it is matric, guys, and you guys know and I know how serious this is. It's the final countdown, prelims around the corner, and then finals, and then you're done. Really, then you're done. So let's have fun and let's learn more and let's learn extra. Pete, take it away.
Right, guys, and because it's your final exam that you're actually working towards, always remember this, and this is what I always tell my classes, is that you have done maths for the last 12 years. All right? So from grade 1, in fact, maybe even from grade 0 nowadays, they're starting to do maths. But from grade 1, you guys have been doing a little bit of maths. Okay? So you've done maths in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, etc., all the way up to matric. And all that maths now, all right, is now focused in 2 3-hour exams. Okay? A paper 1 and a paper 2. And this exam, your final matric exam, is the exam, what it's all about. Okay? So, this is what I say to my guys at school. If you've worked so hard your whole school career, and you now just got one more 3-hour exam for a paper 1, and one more 3-hour paper 2 exam, why don't you make the most of that exam? And really try and remain focused from the beginning right through to the end. And more importantly, this is not the time to get lazy. In other words, what I'm saying to you is show all your working. Okay? Because you pick up part marks for showing method work. Right? So, if I were to give you, in fact, let me show you what I mean. Let's have a look at this straight away. So, here's a question. Calculate the following. 28% of 2,859 Rand and 50 cents. Okay? Paper 1 type question, very basic, very simple. You're calculating percent. Soon as I see the word percent, what jumps to your mind? 100. Okay? So, we know 28% is the same as saying 28 over 100. Multiplied by the 2,859 Rand and 50 cents. Now, let's do that on our calculator. We've got fraction button, 28 over 100, multiplied by 2,859 Rand and 50 cents equals, push the button, and there's our answer, 800 Rand and 66 cents. 800 Rand and 66 cents. Okay. Now let's say that question was in your final exam. Let's pretend your first question is find 28% of that 2,859 Rand and 50 cents. And you say, oh, this is easy. Let's do it on our calculator. So you get out your calculator, okay, and you say, this is so easy, let's do it. Fraction button, 28 over, and you say 100, but now you make a mistake. And you push the 0, but it doesn't register on your calculator, and you don't pick that up. So you've said 28 over 100 in your working, but what you've actually done is you push 28 over 10, okay, and you go ahead and you say times 2,859 Rand and 50 cents equals, and now what you get is you get an answer of 8,006 Rand and 60 cents. So you've now got an answer of, let's write it here, I'm going to do it in yellow, 8,006 Rand and 60 cents. Now the teacher comes along to mark that, or at the end of the year, your markers come along. And they say, right, it's 2 marks. 1 mark we're going to give you for the method, for knowing what you're doing, and for remembering your units. Yes, absolutely. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. And yes, he's got the answer. Absolutely, he gets 2 out of 2. Right? Happy, everything's right. Let's say, though, what you now do is you do this. You say, because you've done this on your calculator, you pushed the wrong button, so you've got 8,006,60. Okay? Your teacher's coming, or the markers at the end of the year come along and they mark, and they say, yep, that's right. Oh, but that's wrong. How on earth did he get that? Okay? They're going to know what you did wrong, and they're going to say, you know what, this guy knows what he's doing. He knew he had to do this first part. He's made a mistake here somewhere. We're going to give him 1 out of 2. And what I always say to my students is this. Don't think of a mark as 1 out of 2. Don't say, oh, I only got 1 extra mark. 1 out of 2, guys, is actually 50% for that question. So for that question, even though you've made a mistake, you got 50% for it. That's phenomenal, okay? Compared to someone who gets 0 for it. How would you get 0? You would get 0 as if you said, oh, this is so easy, you know what, I'm not even going to show my working. I'm just going to write the answer, and I'm going to say the answer to question 1 is 8,006 Rand 60 cents. You know, the tragedy of that is, I come along, and as a marker at the end of the year, we look at that and say, oh, shame, that's wrong. We know what he's done wrong, but we can't presume that that's what he did. Because that final answer is wrong, he's going to get 0 out of 2. So someone else might have got the same answer, but because they showed all this working initially, they're going to get a mark for their working. So do not be lazy in your final exam. Don't do it. Because you're going to just throw marks away in the event that you might have made a careless mistake somewhere. Are we clear on that? Okay? Please remember that, folk. Eh? I'd say that over and over and over and over again. Not only to my students, but I say it to teachers when I go across to different provinces and when I'm talking to different teachers. And I say, please tell your students, they've got to show their working. They've got to show their working. Because if they don't show their working and they make a careless mistake, we can't give them any marks anywhere. But by showing working, you make a mistake, you're still going to get some of those marks. And you know what? That could mean the difference between getting a level 7 or getting a level 6 at the end of the year for your final exams. Right, enough of that. Next question. Now, a computer normally sells for 6,800 Rand. Instead, it is being sold for 4/5 of the normal selling price. Calculate the new selling price. Okay, so we've got a computer and it's 6,800 Rand. But we're not paying the full amount. We are paying 4/5 of that amount. So all we're going to do is times it by 4/5. And then we're going to find out the final answer. So I'm going to say, okay, I've got 6,800 multiplied by 4/5 equals 5,440 Rand. 5,440 Rand. That's how much my new computer is going to cost. Guys, if you want to think it through logically, now I've got students who would do this question the following way, so I'm going to show you, okay? They would say this, that if the computer costs 6,800 Rand, we don't want the full 5/5. We're not paying the full amount. We're only paying 4/5. So what these students would do is they take 6,800 Rand, divide it by 5 to get the cost of 1/5 of their computer, okay, or 1/5 of the price, and then multiply it by 4 to get 4/5 of that price. And you know what? If that's the way you want to think it through, then do it. But you're actually doing it by doing this anyhow. You're saying we're dividing it by 5 and then multiplying it by 4. So multiplying by 4 over 5 is exactly the same thing as saying let's divide it by 5. So we got 1/5 of the price and then multiply it by 4. So we got 4/5. But if you think that makes more logical sense to you, by all means do it. You're going to get the full marks for it. Next question. A fridge is advertised at 4,999 Rand for cash. Alternatively, the customer may use hire purchase and pay a deposit of 10% and then repay the balance with monthly installments of 289 Rand for 3 years. Calculate the amount of the deposit required. Okay, so you walk into a shop and you see a fridge. Oh, and it's a beautiful fridge, eh? It's got 2 doors, okay?
It's got an ice thing,
It's
and
got
water.
an ice thing. You can actually
Yeah.
even take a glass, smash it in the front door, and the water comes through and into the glass. Fantastic fridge. Absolutely brilliant. And you see this fridge and you think, oh, if my wife could have a fridge like that. Okay? And so you think about it and think, I want that fridge. My wife is precious. She's wonderful. She's fantastic. She deserves that fridge. Okay? So I go off to the guy and say, how much is a fridge? And he says, the fridge is 4,999 Rand. And I get so excited, okay? And I open my wallet and I discovered I got nothing like that in that wallet at all. And I'm depressed and I'm heartsore. And somehow I just can't face tomorrow. And he says, hold on, Peter. If you can give me a 10% deposit, then I'll give you this fridge. And all you've got to do is pay 289 Rand every month for the next 3 years only, and you can have the fridge. I'm like, what a bargain. Here I'm getting a huge fridge, and all I've got to do is find 289 Rand every month, and I'll have a fridge. Okay? That's like 289 Rand a month. That's like doing TV work for 25 hours, and then I've got my 289 Rand, okay? So this is what we're going to do. First question, how much deposit's required? Well, the fridge cost me 4,999 Rand. I only want 10% of that, and remember guys, percent means over 100 or out of 100. So now what we're going to do with our calculator is we're going to say, right, we've got 4,999 Rand times 10%, 10 over 100 equals, and what are we going to pay? 499 Rand and 90 cents. So we got 499 Rand and 90 cents. That's all I have to give this guy. 499 Rand and 90 cents. I hand that over to him and I get the fridge. Oh, life's going well. Now, the next question is this. Calculate the total amount you would repay over the 3-year period. Right, so now, I'm paying 289 Rand every single month. 289 Rand every month. I'm doing it for 3 years. But I'm not just paying 3 installments. I'm paying 12 installments every year because there are 12 months in a year, right? So I'm paying 12 months every year, and I'm doing that for 3 years. So in other words, every year I'm paying 12 times, which is 36. So I'm now saying, okay, well, I've got to pay this 289 Rand. I'm going to do that for 36 months, and I'm actually paying 10,404 Rand. 10,404 Rand is what I'm paying back over those 36 months. Jeez, that's a lot of money, especially when you think that the fridge only cost you just under 5,000 and now you're paying more than 10,000. But there's more bad news. What's the more bad news? Will you remember this figure of 10,404?
I shall.
Excellent, because our next question says this. Find the total amount paid for the fridge on hire purchase. What do they mean by that? Because I've just said I'm paying back
404
and 4 Rand. Surely that's the total price for the fridge. Not at all. Do you remember that day 3 years ago when I walked into the shop and the guy said, "Oi, you just got to pay 289 Rand a month. But before you do that, I need a deposit, a 10% deposit." And how much was that? It was 10% of that, which was 499 Rand and 90 cents. Now that's going to be the total that I've got to pay back for my, or would have paid for the fridge. 499.9 equals, and there's my answer, 10,903 Rand. 10,000, oops, here we go, 10,903 Rand and 90 cents. That's a lot to pay when you think that the fridge actually only cost you 4,999 Rand. And now eventually you've paid back more than double that amount by using the hire purchase. So is hire purchase really worth it, guys? Let's think about this. There are two things to think about. Number one, if I've got the cash, pay cash for it. Absolutely. Because then I'm not paying all this interest. Okay? That's number one. But number two, if I don't have the cash, you could do one of two things. Either go this way, and if you go this route of buying it on hire purchase, the advantage of that is, number one, you've got the fridge straight away. Okay? And then you've got small little installments. The disadvantage, of course, is you're going to end up paying back a whack more for that fridge. Okay? The other thing you could do if you don't have the money is you could say, right, I'm going to save every single month until I have 4,999 Rand. The problem with that is this. Number one, you're not going to have the fridge straight away. Okay? So you're going to be having a lot of sour milk over the summer months. Got that? Okay? So you're going to go buy yourself some milk. You're not going to have a fridge to put it in. And over the summer months, it's actually going to go frot. Over the winter months, it shouldn't be a problem, especially the last week we've had here in Joburg. Eh?
No, you have to thaw it out. It'd be frozen.
Absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you this. Where I was now with this group of 79 boys up there in the Magaliesberg Mountains, what we used to do every night, okay, if we didn't want certain things to be frozen, like our milk, like our bananas and apples and things, we would take them and put them in the fridge because the fridge was warmer than the temperature outside the fridge. How's that?
It's incredible.
Absolutely remarkable. So every night we'd say, right, what don't we want frozen? This and this, let's put it in the fridge because it's better in there. In fact, I nearly went to sleep in the fridge the one night because it was warmer than outside air. Okay, but we've got sidetracked once again. What were we saying? Okay, so if I want to save the money, right, I can save it, but there are two problems. Number one, I won't have the fridge straight away. And number two, and this is important, by the time I've saved that money, the fridge has gone up in price anyway. And so I'm going to have to save a little bit more. Okay, so you've got to think very carefully. Do I want to do hire purchase or don't I? And you think about that while we take a break. Eh?
Let's do that. Let's take a little ad break. Guys, please let me know if you are watching on Facebook or on Twitter. We have been posting amazing facts on Women's Day, so check those out there too. We'll see you now after the break.